But it's right there. It exists. When I started lifting weights, I'm so old, you had to buy this horrible sand drink. It tasted horrible. It's pink, and I can't remember what it's called, and it would cost you billions and billions of pounds. Simon the Board A-hole here, joined by Gerald the fitness mascot and Stanley the Games giraffe. If that's enough to make you want to turn off the video, I totally understand. But today we are going to talk about supplements. Why are we going to talk about supplements? Well, because everybody thinks that supplements are the be-all and end-all when it comes to lifting weights and going to the gym and bodybuilding, etc., whatever the hell you want to call it. When actually, and it's important to get this out the way when we start the video, supplements are probably good for like 1-2% of what you're trying to achieve. And if you wanted to knock every single supplement on the head, you could, and you'd likely get away with it. We're also going to be talking about supplements that you're able to buy legally, I suppose, is the right way to put it. So things you could buy from Holland & Barrett or GNC, you know, things you can get over the counter. There are countless other videos you can check out if you want to go down that route. That is completely up to you. And remember, these are just my experiences. So if you do your own research and you read something and you think it sounds like it's going to benefit you, you should try it and you should write things down and you should document it. However, I created my own supplement tier list, I suppose, based on my own experiences and based on things I take now that I genuinely believe give me some help and some assistance when I'm trying to get big and I'm trying to get jacked. And then number 5, maybe kind of surprisingly, is omega-3s. Or any kind of fish oil, to be honest with you, because we all know how important fatty and oily fish is. But if you're genuinely going to get the recommended daily allowance in by eating salmon, for starters, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money, and you're just going to spend a lot of your life eating salmon. Now, I like salmon, especially the smoked variety. I think it's delicious, but would I get bored of that very fast? Well, you bet your ass. However, there's plenty of studies out there that have proven that it's good for inflammation, which is imperative when you're putting your body under a lot of stress. You're going to have an improved blood lipid profile. You're going to lower blood pressure. You can lower triglycerides, which is a type of fat in the blood, and it's damn cheap. So, you know, if you do want to go buy a bunch of salmon, it's going to cost you hundreds of pounds if you did it over, you know, a week, month kind of a basis. Whereas you just stick with omega-3s, they'll be nice and cheap. I take 3 a day. I can't even remember what that is. It's probably about 1 gram. I don't even know. It will tell you on the side of the pack. You don't need to go crazy with it. You don't need to go nuts with it. You can just take it as that. And again, I just find it helps me that teeny little bit in order for me to achieve your goals. And again, because you can get it so accessibly, well, it's so accessible, and because it doesn't cost that much, you may as well give it a go. And if you don't like it, you can just knock it on the head. Kind of following on that trend, in at 4, and this one's going to make everybody's eyes roll, but again, these are just serious things that have studies to back them up, is a flipping multivitamin. Now, I wouldn't just get one that you could buy at a random store, although that would be fine as well, because there are now ones that are tailor-made for quote-unquote athletes or people that are working out more, because the more you do work out and the more exercise that you do decide to partake in, the more deficient you may be in some of these nutrients. Right now, you always want to try and get nutrients from food first and most. So make sure you're getting your salad in and your vegetables and your fruit and all of that kind of thing, and make sure you've got a healthy, balanced diet in order to do this. But throw a multivitamin in there as well, just so you are safeguarding everything else, especially when you're going on a cut and especially when you are going to start cutting calories. Again, just type in calorific deficit and the amount of nutrients that can just vanish from your body when you start to do this. You will become deficient in certain stuff. Now, is it enough to knock you off course? No. But once again, given that you can buy a multivitamin for not that much money, although some are kind of crazy, but if you have the finances, why the hell not? It's just going to keep you leveled out and it's just going to keep you balanced, right? And that's what you want, especially again when you're entering this controlled starvation and all the madness and nutness we do. Now, everybody wants to tie into like T-gel or, I don't know, Mass Gainer 9000. Screw all that stuff. Mass gainers, you're just going to put on a lot of fat unless you've got great metabolism. It's going to be well too much way too soon. And no test booster works. No testosterone booster on this planet works. Because if it did, you wouldn't get people taking needles and jamming it in their ass with actual testosterone, would you? You'd use the testosterone booster that you take in pill form, so you would just do that. However, a multivitamin is going to give you vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin D, all this kind of nonsense that your body does need. And unless you're going to be an absolute nutbag and overdose, I mean, again, do not do that ever. It's just going to help you. With a multivitamin, probably only that 0.5 to 1%, but you want to feel good. Because if you don't feel good, you ain't going to want to go to the gym. Talking about feeling good, in number 3, caffeine, pre-workout, everybody's favorite supplement. Now, I've talked about it 1,000 times on this channel. I try and stay away from caffeine as much as I possibly can, just because my body doesn't interact very well with it. And if you have similar, negative effects when you take it, I wouldn't take it anymore. I would just dump it and go, oh, well, that's just, something I have to deal with in my life. But of course, there is a huge benefit to it, especially if you take it in a pre-workout capacity. Because there are a ton of official studies that have proven you will get a boost when training and working out if you have ingested some kind of caffeine, and that means if you go superhero route, you will be faster, stronger, and you'll probably use more energy as it will give you more energy. And there are some other studies out there as well that say it will increase your testosterone as well. I'm going to imagine that has to be minimal at best. And if you start necking caffeine, thinking you're going to get this raw test boost, you may as well go to take one of those test boosters because you're going to run out. Now, the thing I think where most people fall down when it comes to caffeine is that they forget that you can become tolerant to it. The more you take, the more your body gets used to it. You must remember the first time you had a cup of coffee or pre-workout, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to run through walls. And then 6 to 8 weeks later, you're like, well, it's still okay, but it's not pumping me up as much as it was. And that's because your body has got used to it. So somewhat ironically, it's probably a good idea to cycle caffeine and to cycle your pre-workout. I know it's going to suck, but I'm talking about just maybe every 4 to 8 weeks, maybe even 12 weeks, whatever the hell you want. Just take 7 days off. Take 7 days off. Allow that to get out of your system. Allow it to flush it back out. So when you do go back on it, you start feeling all wahoo wahey again, right? And you don't have to do that. If you're happy with sort of the moderate effects as opposed to the intense effects, then sure. But in terms of, going into a gym and wanting to smash it each and every time, of course, pre-workout / caffeine is going to be able to do that for you, because you can have the worst night's sleep ever, wake up, have a coffee, and for a good 1 to 2 hours, or however long it lasts in your system, again, it's going to be, dependent on you, but it's always around 1 to 2 hours, you're going to do much better than if you try to train or whatever the hell you're trying to achieve without caffeine. So do I think you should introduce it? Yes. Do I think you should try it? Yes. Do I think it's actually quite important when it comes to lifting weights and having that constant intensity? Yes. But it comes with its detriments as well. I mean, some people crash off it and blah, blah, blah. You can look it up. But when you actually, start taking into account things you can just go buy or things you can just go drink right now, caffeine's actually pretty high. And then number 2 is creatine. This shouldn't surprise you at all. Still one of the number 1 questions I get is, Simon, should I take creatine? The best one is creatine steroids? No. The reason people like creatine is because it's basically, by this stage, has been proved. There is countless studies, again, that say, yes, this is of benefit when you're trying to lift weights because, well, it's just going to help you out overall. Because you're going to have improved strength, you're going to have improved power, it's going to increase your ATP levels when your energy demands that you need more, and it's going to help you in the gym, which means you're probably going to see more muscular growth. Because again, you're going to, we're talking layman terms here, but you're probably going to bust out a couple of extra reps depending on what you're doing, and that, of course, is going to lead to better muscle stimulus. You don't need to load it, which is what it still says on some side of the packets where it goes, take all the creatine in the world for 2 weeks. I mean, yes, it will get in your bloodstream quicker, but because you don't have to cycle it either, and you can just take around about 5 grams a day for the rest of your life, it's going to get in your bloodstream anyway. So why ramp through the creatine you've just bought just so you have to buy more creatine when you could just start taking 5 grams a day? And look, maybe you only need 3 grams a day. Maybe you need 7 grams a day. Some people say they feel nothing from creatine. All right, just dump it all together. But when we are talking about things once more that are out there right now that are proven, that are actually going to, again, help you in the gym and probably, increase your muscle mass, to be honest, tiny percent, creatine is right up there. So if you're not taking it and you've never tried it, you absolutely should. And number 1, really boring, whey protein. That's because protein is the building block to everything, right? I'm not going to get into it. It's boring. And if you really don't know, there's 1,000 other videos that would get way nitty gritty into the science so you understand how it works. But if you are not hitting your protein quota for the day and you don't want to eat more chicken, you don't eat more fish, you don't want to eat beef, and you don't want to eat whatever else, you can supplement with a protein shake in order to get there. And that's why it's always going to be number 1, because the basics and the base blocks when it comes to fitness are always going to be the most crucial. So you have to be training hard. You have to be making sure you're getting protein in there. Yes, you need a balanced diet too. You ain't going to get anywhere without carbohydrates and fats. But given that protein is literally like one-on-one when it comes to building muscle, you want to be making sure that you're getting your protein, which is why it's always, or should always, be at the top of this list. And I get it too. Some people can't consume that much food. Either it's too much for their stomach or they just don't have the appetite for it. So you're going to start dreading it. But when someone all of a sudden goes, ta-da, you can drink it in this shaker form where you just go, then you can do it. And you want to have it with milk, you can have it with milk. Some people want to have it with juice, you can have it with juice. I have it with water because I don't want to be drinking any unnecessary calories. But it doesn't make you a bad person if it's going to help you take it. Just incorporate that into the day. So if you're having it with a milk drink and the milk's got 250 calories in it, take an extra 250 calories out of another meal, right? You get people stressing out about it so much. I don't know what to take my whey protein with. Just decide what you like best and do it. I know you can have more than one a day. You don't have to just have it pre-workout or post-workout. Just use it to get to the number of protein, whatever, I'm losing my mind, that you're trying to get in. So if you're trying to get in 200 grams of protein a day and you're only getting 150 grams for food and you really can't fit any more in, then you have a protein shake that has 50 grams in it. Now look, should you always be trying to get protein from food? Yes, it's better, or at least I think your body deals with it better, but it's right there It exists. When I started lifting weights, I'm so old, you had to buy this horrible sand drink. It tasted horrible. It's pink, and I can't remember what it's called, and it would cost you billions and billions of pounds. Now, you can buy a flipping maple syrup flavor of protein if you want. If you had told me back then, I would have done a backflip. So many people roll their eyes when it comes to whey protein. That's so obvious. That's so obvious. Yes, because that is the right thing I think of, but that's the whole mindset you should take into training. The simplest stuff and the old school stuff and the traditional stuff is there for a reason, and it stays around because it actually works. Don't buy into all these lies and all this crap that's out there. Again, test boosters. That ain't going to help you. Whey protein actually is. So there you go. That is my supplement tier list. If you are looking to add things into your routine, do not expect results overnight. Do not expect results within 6 months unless you are doing everything else right. And this is, like I say, is just going to give you that little boost, and it's going to help push you maybe over a plateau that you'd been struggling with. Maybe it won't help you at all. The only way you're going to know is if you try it and, again, document it, and then you'll know. Okay, cool. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Let me know what are your favorite supplements, what have actually shown to be working for you. Click the bell ding ding so you know other videos are going live. There is another video on the screen. Please do give it a click. I've also signed up with More Plates, More Dates, Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode. There's a link in the description below. Use code Simon to get 10% off. Also in Grey Doucette's new Power 13 cookbook, which is a bunch of recipes so you can have a sustainable diet and hopefully go to achieve your goals. Again, it's all in the description below. I'm also on Patreon, patreon.com/Simon316, just on the way to support the channel until I start doing hundreds of thousands of views, if that ever happens. On Instagram and Twitter at Simon316. If you want to send me messages like this, you will send me videos to react to, you can do it there. On Cameo, if you want to shout out, Simon@BigCartel.com if you want merchandise, including one for Gerald the Fitness Mascot. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. Good luck in your fitness journeys, and I'll talk to you soon.